Next part of this chapter is California bearing ratio. The California bearing ratio, abbreviated as CBR, is defined as the ratio of test load to the standard load, expressed as percentage for a given penetration of the plunger. So CBR test can be written as test load upon standard load into 100. The thickness of the different elements comprising a pavement is determined by CBR values. The CBR value is the CBR test is the small scale penetration test in which a cylindrical plunger of 3 centimeter square, that is 5 centimeter in diameter, cross section is penetrated into a small mass, that is subgrade material, at the rate of 0.05 inch per minute. Observations are taken between the penetration resistance, called as test load, versus the penetration of plunger. The penetration resistance of the plunger into a standard sample of coarse crushed stone for the corresponding penetration is called the standard load. This particular is the apparatus, or we can say mold CBR setup for California bearing ratio test. The CBR test may be conducted on a prepared specimen in a mold or on the soil in situ condition. The laboratory CBR apparatus consists of a mold 150 mm in diameter and 175 mm high, having a separate base plate and collar. This load is applied by a loading frame through a plunger of 50 mm diameter. Dial gauges are used for measurement of the expansion of the specimen on soaking and for measurement of penetration. So very first one is the CBR test setup, which consists of soil specimen, CBR mold with having a extension with it, soil specimen in it, plunger, surcharge weight, dial gauge, proving ring measurement load, and some loads to apply. And second diagram you can see it is of CBR mold with extension collar. It shows all the dimension of extension collar as well as CBR mold. It may be noted that with the displacer disc inside the mold, the effective height of the mold is only 125 mm. The test consists of causing the plunger to penetrate the specimen at the rate of 1.25 mm per minute. The loads required for a penetration of 2.5 mm and 5 mm are recorded by proving ring attached to the plunger. The load is expressed as a percentage of the standard load at the respective deformation level and is known as CBR value. Standard load values for crushed stone are given in various tables. The CBR value is determined corresponding to both 2.5 mm and 5 mm penetration, and the greater value is used for the design of flexible pavement. So we can write CBR value is equal to test load upon standard load into 100. The load penetration curve is drawn as shown in the chart. Generally, CBR for 2.5 mm penetration is high. However, if the CBR for 5 mm penetration is greater than that of 2.5 mm penetration, the test is repeated. If the results are unchanged, in some tests there is an upward concavity of the load penetration curve. This may be due to the following certain reasons, like the plunger surface does not come in full contact with the top of specimen. The top layer of the soil is very soft. In the case of initial upward concavity, the corrected zero is obtained by drawing a tangent to the curve at the point of the greatest curvature as shown for curve. The points corresponding to 2.5 mm and 5 mm penetration are measured from the corrected zero. To simulate worst condition in the field, the soil specimen is kept submerged in water for about 4 days before testing. If the test is to be conducted on the unsoaked specimen, the molding water content should be equal to the equilibrium water content which the soil is likely to attain after the construction of the pavement. To stimulate the effect of overlaying materials, the specimen is covered with surcharge mass in the test. The minimum surcharge mass for the test in the mould is specified as 4.5 kg. The annular surcharge mass of 147 mm diameter are used for this purpose. So here is the test procedure. The CBR test is conducted in the laboratory on a prepared specimen in a mould. CBR mould of 150 mm diameter with a base plate and collar are loading frame with the cylindrical plunger of 50 mm diameter and dial gauges for measuring penetration values. A cylindrical plunger of 50 mm diameter to penetrate in a soil specimen at a rate of 1.25 mm per minute. The load values are noted corresponding to penetration values of 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5 mm. The load penetration graph is plotted. Sometimes curve with initial upward concavity is obtained, indicating the necessity of correction. The corrected origin is established by drawing a tangent from the steepest point on the curve. The load value corresponding to 2.5 and 5 mm penetration values from the corrected graph are noted as test load. So CBR can be written as percentage value of test load upon standard load into 100. Normally the CBR value at 2.5 mm penetration, which is higher than that of 5 mm penetration, is recorded. Here are some significance of CBR value. CBR test is considered to be one of the most commonly used and widely accepted tests. This test is used for the analysis of existing pavements layer by layer in respect of their strength and the load carrying capacity. It also helps in identifying the cause of failure of load pavement. The CBR values are usually calculated for penetration of 2.5 mm and 5 mm. Generally, the CBR value of at 2.5 mm penetration will be greater than at 5 mm penetration, and in such case, the former is to be taken as CBR values for design purpose. If the CBR values corresponding to a penetration of 5 mm exceeds that for 2 mm, the test is repeated. Here is the basic difference between compaction and consolidation. You can distinguish the compaction and consolidation according to following points. In compaction, a rapid process of reduction of volume under dynamic load, and consolidation is a gradual process of reduction of volume under static, that is dead load. In compaction, the volume of partially saturated soil decreases because of expulsion of air from voids at the unaltered water content, and in consolidation, the reduction in volume of saturated soil due to squeezing out water from the soil. Compaction is an artificial and quick process which is done to increase the density of soil to improve its properties before putting to any use. And consolidation is a natural and gradual process occurs when saturated soil deposits are subjected to static loads caused by the weight of the building and other structure. In compaction, there is only removal of air, no water escape out of soil mass, and in consolidation, as the water escape out of soil mass, the load transfer takes place from water to the soil particles. Compaction is required for the construction of earth dam, canals, embankment, highways, runways, and in many other engineering applications. And consolidation of soil required for construction of building is useful for forecasting the magnitude and time of the settlement of the structure. Speed of completion of project of compaction is fast, and in consolidation speed of completion of project is gradual. In compaction, compaction takes place before building of structure, and consolidation takes place after building of structure. Compaction is fast process, consolidation is slow process. In consolidation, settlement is prevented due to compaction. Settlement takes place due to compaction in consolidation. Compaction is artificial process, whereas consolidation is natural process. Compaction does not go on indefinitely, and consolidation goes on indefinitely. Compaction takes place due to dynamic load, and consolidation occurs due to static load. Let us move further to the new concept of soil stabilization. So starting with concept, in soil stabilization various methods are used to modify the properties of soil so that its engineering performance is improved. There are two main ways by which the soil properties can be improved. Very first one is improving the soil properties of the existing soil without adding any admixture, and improvement of the soil properties with the help of admixture. Compaction and drainage are the example of the first type, which improves the shear strength of soil. Stabilization with cement, lime, bitumen and chemical are the examples of second type. Here is the need of soil stabilization. Naturally occurring soils or existing soils are sometimes found to be very weak against shear stress. Therefore, these soils have low bearing capacity. We improve these engineering properties of soil by stabilization. So, soil stabilization is used for certain purposes, like it used to increase the shear strength of the soil. It is used to enhance the stability of slopes in soil. It also reduces the construction cost by making best use of the locally available materials. It is being used for a variety of engineering works, the most common being in construction of roads and airfield pavements where heavy loads comes across. It also increases the strength of soil against deformation and displacement under load. It increases the density of soil. So let us start with different methods of soil stabilization. Here are some methods which popularly used in the field for soil stabilization. Very first one is mechanical stabilization, second one is chemical stabilization or cement stabilization, third one is chemical stabilization, bitumen stabilization, stabilization by heating, electrical stabilization, lime stabilization, fly ash stabilization. So starting with mechanical stabilization. Mechanical stabilization means stabilization of soil by mechanical means without adding any chemical or admixture. It involves two operations: to change the composition of the soil either by addition or removal of some soil constituent, and compaction of or density of the soil mass. Plus particle size distribution and composition of soil are the two main properties which govern the engineering behavior of the soil. So by changing this, both the addition of removal of certain constituent of soil, strength of soil can be increased significantly. Granular friction retained on 75 micron ISU imparts strength and hardness. The fine grain friction passing a 75 micron ISU imparts cohesion or binding properties, water retention capacity, and acts as a filler for the voids present in the coarse friction. Mechanical stabilization is largely used in the construction of cheap road. It is commonly used for the construction of subbases, bases, and surfacing of roads, and also for improving the subgrade soils having low bearing capacity. In this method, emphasis on the use of locally available materials should be given so that economy can be affected in the construction. For having good stabilization, a typical gradation should be given to the soil for mechanically stabilized bases and surfacing. If the locally available soil does not meet the gradation and the plasticity requirement, then it becomes necessary to mix material from other sources, obtaining the desired mixture. Bleeding of material can be done by making trial combination. Here are different methods for soil stabilization. So we now start with mechanical stabilization. Mechanical stabilization means stabilization of soil by mechanical means without adding any chemical or admixture. So particle size distribution and composition of soil are the two main properties which govern the engineering behavior of soil. So by changing this, both the addition or removal of certain constituent of soil, strength of soil can be increased significantly. Granular fraction written on 75 micron ISU imparts strength and hardness. The fine grained friction passing 75 micron ISU imparts cohesion or binding properties. Water retention capacity and act as filler for the voids present in the coarse friction. Mechanical stabilization is largely used in the construction of cheap roads. It is commonly used for the construction of the subbases, bases, and surfacing of roads, and also for improving the subgrade soils having low bearing capacity. In this method, emphasis on the use of locally available materials should be given so that economy can be affected in the construction. For having good stabilization, a typical gradation should be given to all soil mechanically stabilized bases and surfacing if the locally available soil does not meet the gradation and the plasticity requirement. Then it becomes necessary to mix materials from other source obtaining the desired mixture. Blending of materials can be done by making trial combinations. So, talking about liquid limit and plasticity index requirement. For bases, liquid limit should not exceed 25% and plasticity index should not greater than 6. For surfacing, liquid limit must not be greater than 35% and plasticity index should be between 4 to 9. Compaction plays an important role in soil stabilization. Soil properties such as strength, permeability, compression, swelling, water absorption, and stress strain characteristics are affected by compaction. Properties of soil under compaction greatly depends upon the water content, amount of compaction, type of compaction. Compaction in field is done by three materials: reeling, ramming, vibration. The rolling equipments are of five types: smooth wheel roller, pneumatic tire roller, ship foot roller, lorries and pneumatic type construction plant, track line vehicles. The ramming equipments are of three types: dropping weight type, internal combustion type, pneumatic type. The vibrating equipments are of two types: dropping weight type, pulsating hydraulic type. Next one is cement stabilization. The soil stabilized with Portland cement is known as soil cement and the process is known as cement stabilization. The stabilization takes place due to the cementing action believed to be the result of chemical action of cement with the soil containing silicon during hydration. Binding action due to cement takes place only in coarse grain soil. Only very less number of particles in the fine grain cohesive soil for cement bond. Almost every inorganic soil can be stabilized with cement. Expansive soil are difficult to be stabilized. Organic matter and sodium sulfate are harmful and weaken the stabilization. Well graded soil with less than 50% fraction, finer than 75 micron sieve, and PI less than 20, that is plasticity index less than 20, are found to give best results. The strength of soil cement increases with the increase in the content of the cement. 5 to 15% cement of the dry weight of soil is required. Actual requirement is determined experimentally depending upon compression strength and durability. The amount of cement giving a compressive strength of 25 to 30 kg per centimeter square is considered airtight, alright for tropical climate. The approximate amount needed for different types of soil may be as follows: gravel up to 5 to 10%, sand 7 to 12%, silt 12 to 15%, and clays 12 to 20%. A stronger and durable soil cement will be produced if the soil cement water mixture is mixed properly. Mixing should be discontinued as soon as the cement hydration starts. Strength of soil cement increases with the time and it should be cured moist for at least 7 days. Certain chemicals are sometimes added to reduce the consumption of cement or sometimes to the soil which are not responsive towards cement. Lime and calcium chloride have been found to be very good for clay soils containing organic matter. Sodium carbonate and sodium sulfate have also been experimented with the fly ash. It has also been used for soil stabilization. It acts as an additive for and has got good binding property. It has been used in the stabilization of dune sand. The fly ash acts as pozzolana and also as the filler for increasing density. The normal construction procedure for soil cement bases is as follows: shaping the subgrade and sacrificing the soil, pulverizing the soil, adding and mixing cement, adding and mixing water, compacting, finishing, curing, adding wearing surface. There are three methods to carry out the operations: mixed in place method, traveling plant method, stationary plant method. Third one is chemical stabilization. There are a number of chemicals which are used in soil stabilization. There are two main functions of addition of chemicals: for stabilizing moisture in soil, for cementation of soil particles. So in that, very first one is calcium chloride. It is used as a water retentive additive in mechanical stabilized bases and surfacing. It also acts as soil flocculant. It facilitates compaction and usually causes increase in the compacted density. Sodium chloride, its action similar to CaCl2, but it is not used so widely. It attracts and retains moisture and reduces the rate of evaporation. Another beneficial phenomenon is crystallization of salt in the soil pores near the surface, which retard further evaporation and also reduces the formation of shrinkage cracks. Last one is sodium silicate. Sodium silicate, along with other chemicals such as CaCl2, is used as a water retentive agent and increases the shear strength of the soil. Fourth one is bitumen stabilization. Asphalts and tars are the bituminous materials are used for soil stabilization of soil for pavement construction. These are very viscous, therefore the fluidity of these materials is increased by either heating, emulsifying, or by cut back process so that they can easily be mixed with soil. Bituminous materials when added with soil imparts cohesion and reduce water absorption. Thus either the binding action or waterproofing action or both the action may be utilized for stabilization. Depending upon these actions and the nature of soils, bitumen stabilization is classified under certain categories. Very first one is sand bitumen. When bituminous material are mixed with cohesionless soils such as loose beach, dune, peat or river sand for stabilization purposes, then the combination is termed as sand bitumen. Main function of bitumen is to bind sand particles together. Sand should be free from clay and organic matter. The approximate proportions on dry weight basis of sand are as follows: hot mix asphalt is 5 to 10 11%, cutback is 4 to 10%, emulsion is 5 to 10%, hydrated lime is 1 to 2%, is sometimes used as an admixture. Soil bitumen is a type of stabilized soil in which main function of bitumen is to reverse the natural cohesion strength by waterproofing the soil or reducing the water absorption. Waterproof mechanical stabilization. Small amount of bitumen 1 to 3% are normally added to mechanically stabilized soil to make them waterproof. Oiled earth, slow and medium curing road soils are spread on the ground to make it water and abrasion resistant. Stabilization by heating. Heating of fine grained soil at temperature 400 degrees Celsius to 600 degrees Celsius converts the soil into non-plastic, less water sensitive and non-expensive soil. Thus this stabilization is obtained. Sixth one is electrical stabilization. The stability or shear strength of fine grained soil can be increased by draining them with the passage of direct current through them. There are some electrochemical changes in the structure of soil and hardening of soil takes place. Aluminium anodes are recommended for this purpose. Seventh one is lime stabilization. Hydrated or slaked lime is very effective in treating heavy plastic clay soil. Lime may be used alone or in combination with cement, bitumen or fly ash. Sandy soils can be stabilized with these combinations. Lime has mainly used for stabilizing the road bases and subgrades. On addition of lime to soil, two main types of chemical retention reactions occur: alteration in the nature of the absorbed layer through base exchange phenomena, and cementing of pozzolanic action. So talking about cementing or pozzolanic action, lime reduces the plasticity index of highly plastic soils, making them most friable and easy to be handled, and pulverized in plasticity index of soils of low plasticity generally increases. There is generally an increase in the optimum water content and the decrease in the maximum compacted density, but the strength of durability increases. The amount of lime required may be used on the unconfined compressive strength or the CBR test criteria. Normally 2 to 8% of lime may be required for coarse grain soil and 5 to 10% for plastic soils. The amount of fly ash as admixtures may vary 8 to 20% of the soil weight. The construction procedure of lime stabilized bases are similar to those of soil cement. No strict time limitations for completion of job are however necessary, since the soil lime cementation reaction are respectively slow. And the last one is fly ash stabilization. Fly ash is an industrial waste obtained from burning of powdered coal. Fly ash particles are very fine and are predominantly siliceous in nature. This is considered as a pozzolana because fly ash react with lime only in the presence of water producing a cementitious material. Main reaction in the case of lime fly ash as soil are base exchange phenomena and pozzolanic reaction. This type of stabilization is successful, however, wherever lime stabilization is effective, especially for foundation of residential building. As in the case of soil cement and soil lime, lime fly ash generally decreases the maximum density and causes a slight reduction in the plasticity index. Due to wide variation in the soil properties of fly ash samples, each source must be investigated in detail to determine whether the fly ash will react with lime.